Well, here now is Dan Hoffman, former CIA station chief and a Fox Business contributor. Dan, glad to have you with us. I want to start with a really simple question. We heard some words from Vladimir Putin today saying there's been certain positive movement. Okay, he's talking about the prospects of talks or diplomacy. But in your view, do you see any sign that Putin is looking for an exit or an off-ramp here?
No, that's subterfuge. Negotiations for Russia under Vladimir Putin have always been an opportunity just to put forth Russia's maximalist demands that they know Ukraine will never agree to. In fact, President Zelensky has said, if we were to agree to what Russia wants of us, that would mean surrender. So we're not doing it. Vladimir Putin's not, he's escalating, not to de-escalate. You know, there's no off-ramp for him. He's just barreling down the highways of Ukraine's major cities with a scorched earth strategy.
All right, so let's talk about Kyiv then, because his forces have moved out of that column into the woods. Looks like they're encircling the city. Ukraine is not going to get MiGs from Poland. That's become clear, and the president has said no to Ramstein, which means if they're not going to come from Ramstein, they're not going to go to Ukraine. How much does that hurt, Dan, to not be giving Ukraine the jets that they're asking for in this moment as Putin's forces encircle their capital?
It hurts a lot. You know, let's start with the policy failure that we failed to deter Vladimir Putin's invasion in the first place. We effectively ran like a live Twitter feed of declassified CIA intelligence, kind of step blow by blow. The Russians are planning an invasion, but we didn't make the right policy to do something about it, to deter it, to get the javelins and stingers into Ukraine before Russia invaded, to make it clear it would be prohibitively costly to Vladimir Putin to embark on such a war. And now we've got this war on our hands, and I think that the question you have to ask our elected officials, starting with President Biden right now, is have we done enough? Could we do more? I can tell you, if I were still at the CIA, that's what I'd be asking myself, and it'd be hard for me to put my head to the pillow at night if I didn't believe that we were doing everything we possibly could to help Ukraine fight off this barbaric invasion and Russia's indiscriminate targeting of innocent Ukrainian civilians in their hospitals and residential neighborhoods and schools.
Here's what I have a hard time with. I have a hard time with the Department of Defense telling President Zelensky what you're asking for is not what you need. Now, maybe it's possible that we know more than he does what they need to defend their city, Dan, but it seems to me in these circumstances on the ground, the president of Ukraine is going to know what's going to help. What do you make of the Department of Defense taking that kind of posture toward Ukraine?
Well, I think we could all probably agree on the facts. And, Russia is launching a lot of their attacks on Ukrainian cities with their ground forces. That's artillery and rockets. And they're even launching from Russian territory as well. So tough to stop. But I could tell you from the 3 years I spent in war zones serving alongside the U.S. military, there's nothing certain in warfare. And so imagine if Ukraine did have those MiGs. Would they be able to strike the Russian tanks in that convoy? Probably they would. It would give them some comparative advantage. And that's what President Zelensky's looking for, every advantage he could possibly have. His country's existence right now is in great peril. And again, I just think that there's more that we could do. There's a lot that we're doing, and there's a lot of things we're doing behind the scenes. But right now, Vladimir Putin is deterring us from doing what we should be doing. As Senator Romney said, we should be delivering those MiGs.
So let's talk about a different dimension of the war. You've got the hot war, but you've got the information war as well, Dan. That seems to be an area where Zelensky is winning definitively. How much does that factor into where things go from here?
He's winning. I'll tell you what, I put out a column yesterday in the Washington Times about President Zelensky. He's a 21st century leader, right there on the front lines, defending democracy and freedom. And he's doing it with just extraordinary skill on social media. He has earned the psychological and the moral advantage over Russia. Vladimir Putin's fighting a 20th century war for all that entails. He's throwing out a lot of KGB propaganda and disinformation. And Zelensky is winning that battle. And eventually, the truth will make it back to Russia, especially when all the dead soldiers don't come home. And that definitely carries risks for Vladimir Putin's regime security when people realize that he's just lying to his own population.
Zelensky has the advantage in terms of the story, but the question is, will he have the hard material, the weapons he needs to finish the defense work that they're putting up right now? Dan, we got to leave it there, but thanks for being with us today.
All right, thanks.